Formerly the proud hegemons of the rugged Britannia, England is now subdued by a wicked Malays, the sons of Hengist and Horsa, having grown fat and complacent. Turning a blind eye to the troubles ahead and snubbing the Cynigs' desperate pleas for unity, the English may soon see the kingdom erode beneath their feet, no matter how much they refuse to believe it. From the Welsh and Cornish to the Scots and Irish, England's old rivals now stand behind her with daggers poised, eager to seek a most bloody retribution. Meanwhile, across the channel, the Normans patiently count the days until they can stake a claim to their old enemy's throne for a third and final time. With the Isles on the eve of all-out war, some pray that, in their hour of need, they shall be led to salvation by the once and future king, the Pendragon. We will be playing as the Normans, who, along with everyone else in this area, are going to be receiving a massive update in the 1.7 Pendragon update for Ante Bellum that is going to be coming sometime this summer. Now, keep in mind that I am playing on an early access build of this mod, so it may look quite different from what you would expect to see whenever you play the game. This is just to give you guys a bit of a teaser, get you a little excited about what's to come. We are in possession of the Ducal Ring of Normandy, which is giving us 10% cav combat ability and some nobility loyalty, which is fine. That infantry combat ability is going to be useful when it comes to invading the neighbors. The mission tree is absolutely what you would come to expect from Parmalion with Ante Bellum. Getting the Renaissance and some prestige will unlock us some bonuses that will help us win a little bit harder. Building up to the naval force limit and getting an admiral will give us claims on Britain, which obviously is going to be important for us, and it also starts the construction of some heavy ships for free. Building up to the army here will allow us to get some claims on the local enemies, and that is what we're going to be doing first. Well, I did not expect that. It looks like Frankie actually decided to get rid of the Carolingians, so we now have France as our neighbor instead of Francia, and they did indeed leave the HRE. That's probably actually better for us, to be honest with you, because it's going to weaken them. They're not going to have the emperor status there, but we'll see how it goes. A royal marriage from Wales, huh? That may actually be quite useful for us to get an alliance up there. Oh, we actually start with an alliance up there. Turns out I'm a dingus. So it looks like these guys actually attacked Denmark because they have this province here. So it would be nice if we could eventually get these guys to join us. That is probably the move. In the meantime, we are going to attack these guys. We're going to get claims on the entirety of Brittany from this. We will click this button now, which will give us claims on Brittany as well as France. And it says that they outnumber us, but I suspect that Ulster and Cornwall are a large chunk of the navy there. So let's go ahead and attack them. We will go for Arvor, since it is a border province here. Let's see if we can focus on killing their army first, because they do have a large army, and then occupying them. Easy peasy. That is a stack wipe. And then what you do is you just carpet siege them down. Make sure you get a guy on every province and just win. Yeah, luckily it seems that they are not too interested in invading us. So we just get to siege these guys down for free. And that is an absolute win for me. All we need to do is recruit an admiral, Gaim de whatever this name is. He's not too bad, but more importantly, we will get 15% morale of navies, as well as permanent claim on some areas over here in Britain, which is huge. And if we have a larger navy than England, we will actually get some bonuses as well. So maybe we want to wait and then build up a couple more ships. The ambition of Duke Richard IV. 4 centuries ago, our forefathers crossed the channel to press their claims on the English throne, but the untimely death of Duke William at the Battle of Hastings forced us back to Normandy. A little bit of alternate history for you guys. If you did not know, that is part of the lore of Ante Bellum, is that William actually lost at the Battle of Hastings and was kicked out of England, which left England as an Anglo-Saxon kingdom rather than a sort of Norman-French amalgamation kingdom. So we can invest a little bit of money, gain an admiral, and gain a galley flagship, and we will get a modifier here for 20 years, which has given us some solid bonuses plus the wooden wall if we do decide we want to invade England. And obviously we're going to invade England. With these ships finishing up, we are now definitely the naval hegemon of this area. So we will get 3 heavy ships started for 25% of the time and 0% of the cost, as well as we will get some bonuses to our naval force limit, which will put us even higher. Look at that, baby. I love that. And we just wait until these guys are ready to get vassalized. In the meantime, taking a look through the mission tree, you can see here that once we are winning a war against England, we will actually get some bonuses. Permanent claim on all provinces owned by England. More infantry combat ability. So that will allow us to continue to steamroll through that army there. Once we take some provinces over here, we will get some more military bonuses, which is always very much appreciated. And it looks like we need to reclaim Sicily here for our Norman ancestors. If we can get our relations up with Pope Man, we can get some solid bonuses. So that is something we probably want to be working on as well. Now, these are the parts of the mission tree that you really are looking at right here. Once we own a bunch of land over here, we will be able to get a claim on the entirety of them. And if they are our subject and they're loyal, we will be able to inherit them for free, which is really good. And once we get down here and we own all of the land of the British Isles as well as France, we will be able to unite the crowns and form the Avingian Empire, which is really cool. It's also very strong from what I've been told. So that 50 tradition admiral we got is actually quite solid. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to attack these guys because we do have a couple more ships now that are worth reinforcing with. I think we actually have naval supremacy, which is great. Rule Normandy. Normandy rules the waves, baby. Well, Cornwall is getting eaten by England, so I suppose we might as well just piece them out. That'll make this easier on us, and that will actually allow us to piece them out while also taking all of their money, which is good, because we don't have a lot of money. We have ended Britain's sovereignty, which would give us some diplo rep, and years of separatism, which doesn't matter because we chose to vassalize them. It cost us some diplo, but at the end of the day, I don't have to spend the admin, which means I'll have more admin to spend on ideas and or invading England. And looking around, it seems like we have our pick of the litter when it comes to making friends. I think that befriending these guys over here in Lotharingia is going to be in our best interest because they are strong and they will help us stand against France, who inevitably is going to become much stronger as they start to eat up some land over here, assuming they can. It is all HRE, so it's hard to say exactly what we should expect from that. Well, it appears that Wales is actually getting attacked by England, so this might be my opportunity here to fight off on England. So let's unmothball our navy here, get the army prepared, and get ready to completely tank our economy in the name of beating up on the Brits. Military is the one that has me a little bit spooked. Brittany is not going to be helpful. Connacht does have some armies, so that might be useful as well as these guys, so we'll see exactly how it goes. Man is indeed independent. Definitely look forward to some interesting stuff coming from the Isle of Man in Ante Bellum in 1.7. I actually made a unique mission tree, and I'm pretty excited about it because I think it's really, really good. It's some of my best modding work I've ever done, so I think you'll enjoy it as well. Them standing the whole army on that fort is definitely good for us. Let's just hope they can hold out for a while until our navies are ready to attack. I reckon we should bring our boys over. So let's go ahead and bring them over. Now, if I can get these Welshmen to attach to my army, we should be able to win, especially considering the fact that we have decent infantry combat ability. They are attaching, so that should be a win for us. Oof, not as close as I would have liked it to have been, but let's hang back, lick our wounds, and then let's have our navy go out on the attack here. We actually have heavy ship combat ability, which is really good. Yeah, I don't know about this one. They're heading over to go siege down this province here. I guess we'll stand on Winchester and help them siege it down. There you go. We just sunk the Frisian navy. Got to be mindful of how many ships we're stealing, because we are stealing quite a lot of them, and we can't really afford to steal all of them because our naval force limit is not as high as I would have liked to have been. If we can siege down their capital, that would be like absolutely ace. Now, my goal is to, as soon as we win this occupation, carpet siege down some land and then piece them out. That way we can take some clay over here in England. That's my goal. Oh, they actually gave us the occupation of Winchester as well, which is like absolutely top tier right here. They are attacking us, so let's see if we can reinforce our boys in and win some fights. I think we're okay. They are reinforcing with quite a few men, though. Oh man, what a battle. Looks like a win. Let's go, dude. Infantry combat ability is overpowered. And remember that Winchester is the Anglo-Saxon capital this time around, so not London. London is only 10 dev. Winchester is 20. I think I would like to take like this state here and maybe some money to repay our loans. That's going to give us a really good base of operations, and we can start developing some of this land over here. We have indeed crossed the channel, winning a war against England, which is very good. It will give us some extra infantry combat ability, which is really solid. Probably would have helped us in that last battle. So, you know, if you find yourself in the same situation, click the mission first. And we get a permanent claim on all provinces owned by England, which is better than it was before. Look at that. Look at those permanent claims. I'd love to see a bunch of permanent claims like that, baby. And with this peace, we are going to start preparing to attack them again, hopefully with Lotharingia this time. And I think I'm going to try to ally the Scots because getting some armies flooding in from the north is certainly going to help us when we're surrounding the Brits. And now we've got England surrounded. I doubt Wales is going to be our friend if they even exist at all after this war, but you know, we'll see what this war will result with over here. And there goes the Welsh army. RIP for them. And yep, as expected, Wales just got full annexed. So it looks like we're going to need to find another friend over here that we can use to beat up on England. And as expected, England is up here sieging these guys down. I don't really know how they got past that fort, unless it's some corny stuff where like this fort projects a zone of control into that province. Bunch of hooey, if you ask me. Yep, Scotland being about as useful as you would expect them to be, getting full occupied by the enemy with very low effort on their end. The Battle of Sussex is underway. And we'll see exactly how it goes. Looks like it's pretty even, 1-1 here. Some bad rolls on both sides, honestly. But it looks like we come out victorious here. We don't have the manpower to really hold on to that. So It's really going to be an issue of making sure that we are able to keep the ticking war score going, and hopefully we can manage a victory. As far as our first idea group, I think it's probably best to just stick with our quality roots and continue to stack modifiers for our infantry. 30% infantry combat ability is really good, and if we can get it, we should get it. Just going to need to peace out his allies, and we should be fine. This is my fort now, baby. Mine. I call dibs, and you have to honor the dibs. And like dominoes, they will fall. Liège once out, easy peasy. And as we continue to piece these guys out from blockading them, it'll get even easier on our end. England actually has a really small army. Once we piece out his allies, it'll be basically a 1v1, and we can definitely win a 1v1 against those guys now. The Hansa will piece out, so we'll piece them out. Friesland is gone. Now it's just Lubeck, and I reckon we can probably just blockade them, and they will want out as well. So even though they're on high enthusiasm, they're willing to peace out and actually give us some money. So sounds good to me. And now it's just mano y mano. Whoever said Britannia rules the waves did not meet the Norman forces. Easy peasy. We have sunk 22 of their ships. I can live with those numbers. And after such a hard-fought victory, obviously, our intention is to 100% these guys. There's no reason why we shouldn't. We'll meet them out here in the fields of Derby, slap their cheeks, and get them more occupied. Oh, we stack wiped them. Oh, let's go, dude. How about that? 670 ducats. We take all of these provinces over here. War reps. That is awesome. This is a really good peace deal for us. We lost a lot of men, but so did they. And boy, I think we come out ahead. That money from the peace deal gives us enough to pay off the entirety of our loans, which will help out our economy significantly. We now have a fort up here, which projects a zone of control onto quite a few provinces, which is good. Clearly, at this point, we've outscaled them, and it's just going to be a matter of waiting it out. England doesn't look to be doing so well. They've definitely got some rebels popping in their lands, and can't say I feel bad for them. As much as it pains me to do this, we're going to need to accept this culture. It is going to make these provinces much more useful for us. As much as I would like to attack France, they are literally allied to everybody and their cousin, and it's going to be kind of a huge pain in the butt. So I think what I'd like to do is focus on England and then come back for France later when we are much stronger and we're able to punch them. Decrease the autonomy over here as low as possible. It's going to give us a lot of unrest, but it's going to give us a ton more money as far as taxes, production, trade power. It's all going to be very much worth it in my opinion. Truce with these lads is over very soon, and we are going to attack them, and we are going to take a lot of land in this war. Namely, we are going to be taking their capital of Winchester, which is going to give us avenging Hastings. Oh, and lucky us, they deleted all of their forts, so we just get free reign to occupy them wherever we feel like it. You love to see it happen, folks. And now it is time for the value cannon, of course. Let's track down the last of them and, push them into the sea over here in Dumfries. Oh, goodbye, nerds. See you next time. I suppose this piece will work for multiple reasons. We'll be able to get a little bit of money, and it says we're going to lose 300 admin, but I have a surprise for you guys because there is quite a few subjects that we can be releasing over here. One is Wales, and the other is a Northumberland. Tons, of course, to reclaim, as well as take over this province here. And we now can avenge Hastings. Feel free to stop and read the flavor text if you'd like, but for the purpose of time, we're going to push through this. We're going to get a Restoration of Union CB on England. Interesting. I wonder how long the truce is because we just 100%ed them. To the end of the game, though, we get Army Tradition Decay, which is a really solid modifier. It's going to help us keep our generals good. And in order to keep our subjects in line, we will go ahead and go with the strong duchies because it's overpowered. If we're lucky, they may actually get clapped hard enough in this war that Tyrone will actually return some cores to our subjects. It definitely could happen. For the Age of Discovery, we actually have Norman Invasion, which gives us unjustified demands. That actually might be useful whenever we go to reconquest these lands from these guys. And also, this CB will last until December of 1513. So I don't know if we want to PU them. We could, but I'm leaning more towards just feeding my subjects because even if we do subjugate them, they're going to be very disloyal. They're going to hate us. And again, we're going to have rebels, so we might as well just get this autonomy down in our newly cored provinces and just put the rebels down whenever the time comes. No big deal. I think our next idea group is going to be economic here. So we are going to switch our focus over to admin, which is nice because Henri, our current leader, does indeed have good admin, and our heir has decent admin. Look at that. Loose lips, and Craven. You guys are terrible. I reckon we could probably get a war with France started off right now. If I could get these guys to break alliance. Looks like they're willing to do it. And if that's the case, we should get our army down here because I'm pretty sure we can steamroll through the French right now. If it's us and Lotharingia against them, I don't think it's going to be much of a war. All should be well with this. I'm going to go ahead and declare the war and we'll go for Maine. Take as much money from them as possible. This is fine. And recover Anjou to give us a little bit of mill mana and some base manpower in that area, as well as army morale for a while and some claims on France. And after 2 more clicks here, we'll be able to start our golden era which will allow us to really push through the rest of this and then get caught up on research. And then it gives us plenty of excess mana to develop, which is really going to be what's going to sustain us in the long term. And with that, next month we should be able to, very good, pop our golden era, which will allow us to take all this stuff early, as well as it's going to boost up our economy, which is going to be very nice. Well, it doesn't look like France really has much going for it anymore, as it is currently in the process of getting occupied by Andalusia. Gonna hire some advisors here and fish for radical reforms, which is a nice event you can get if you have the yearly inflation reduction and trade efficiency advisors at the same time. And there you go. So basically, you can fire who you want to fire and keep who you want to keep. This is the one we're going to pick. And since I don't care about this guy because he's a little too expensive, I'd rather save up the money. I will fire the yearly inflation reduction advisor because we want to keep them. And then we'll use that to fire them so we can hire somebody cheaper right now. And you get 200 admin, 200 diplo, and all is well. And now we just sit back, fill out some ideas, and wait for this truce here with these guys to be over in March of 03. I think that this is a nice way to pass the time. We can reconquest this isle over here for our Welsh vassal, and at the same time we can annex Leinster. Might as well just co-belligerent some people and annex who we can. Truce with England is indeed over. They have like no manpower, so we might as well just call them in. I will call in Holland, who will beat up on those guys hopefully, and we should be able to reconquest quite a bit of land for them, so that will be good. So I think that it's really player choice what you do here. Since we are in a good position to reconquest land, I will reconquest the land. If you wanted to, you could certainly push the personal union. We are now a kingdom. The Kingdom of Normandy. Don't get it twisted. So this is the peace deal we will take. We will reconquest all this land for our subject up here, all this land over here for our subject, as well as we will take these two provinces for ourselves, as well as Calais, which is the staple port. I don't know if we'll be able to keep that modifier, but at the very least, we get a level 1 center of trade that we can upgrade and make more money in the long term. And we'll also take a little bit of money because why not? Beautiful, beautiful borders. Look at that. You love to see it. And we can now unite the crowns. Obviously, England is not a PU under us, but that doesn't matter because we will also get some diplomana, which is nice, and permanent claims on the rest of the isles, which means we can start conquesting these guys over here very easily. I decided it was about time to start conquesting some land over here in Ireland, and France decided that they wanted to back them up. So, we'll just go in and we'll rob them blind, take all their money, and then we'll annex all these guys over here in Ireland, and all is well. Just about the most easiest steamroll I have ever experienced in this game. We are ready to piece France out for basically all their money, as well as annulling any useful alliances they have to weaken them. Sounds good to me. Lots of money for us, goodness gracious. Another war, another bit of conquest. And with our buildings finished up, we can now get a development cost advisor who is half off, so that's pretty good, as well as some bonuses to construction cost and time. Plus, who doesn't like a little bit of prosperity in their capital? We also have 8 forts, which opens up the ability to get this one here. For the rest of the game, we get 10% state maintenance, and if we have defensive ideas, we will also get fort defense bonuses, which we haven't done defensive, we did quality. But still, that's pretty good. And there's another one. Might as well take their money as well. Oh, interesting. So it looks like the Hussites actually spawned the Protestant Reformation, and they converted very quickly. Because the Reformation literally just spawned. Like just a second ago just spawned. So I assume they must have flipped via event. So that's pretty cool. Well, I see a couple of zeros over here. So I say we go ahead and we annex these boyos. And to add to our already massive deficit of admin mana, why not annex the rest of Ireland? Truce with England is over. Go ahead and attack them. Sure, I'll call in Holland again. Holland got beat up in the last war, but they make a nice distraction. We will now full annex England, which will allow us to form England once we integrate our subject over here, which we are working on right now. Third idea group is going to be trade, of course, because it's going to stack well with quality as well as economic, give us lots of trade efficiency, as well as obviously English Channel is good for collecting trade. Well, this was not intended, but it seems that we have got a personal union over a Swabia over here, and Lotharingia has declared war on us in order to contest it. Gonna have to come over here and sort this war out because those guys are big. Yikes. I don't even know if I really want the personal union, to be honest with you. England will now be annexed. Good riddance, you suck, and I hate you. Swabia is just getting full occupied over here. My army was stuck over here from the previous war, so obviously I can't link them up. So I'm building up a bunch of armies over here and trying my best to defend our lands. And we should be okay, but it might be a little painful. All we need is to get a white piece, so it's not really a big deal. Oh, my poor capital. Meanwhile, we're on their capital, so a little bit of a base race going on. They're probably going to win. But like I said, all we need is a white piece, so it shouldn't be a huge deal. Oh, they're coming for me, though. They are coming for me. We won! Let's go, dude. All I need is a white piece, and I get to keep the PU, whether I want it or not. Might as well take their money. And just like that, we got a little personal union over here in Germany. Welcome, Swabia. I wasn't even trying for it either. It just happened on its own. I had no alliance. I had no royal marriage. We got it randomly. But that was pretty good timing because we are about a month away from integrating Northumberland. And with that, we are now able to form England, and it will move our capital to London, of course. We will get the English feudal monarchy, and we will get some new ideas. Now, I should note that this England is a special England. These national ideas are only available if you form England via the Normandy route. And you guys will see we also will get quite a few new missions down here. Look at that. Are you freaking kidding me, man? We now have the Norman England flag, which is pretty cool. The Coronation Day Massacre. So feel free to stop and read if you would like. Basically, we have a couple of different paths of ways to resolve it. We can have some rebels pop up and get some national unrest until the death of our leader. That's actually probably fine because our leader is old. So let's go ahead and click that one, and we can fight those rebels because they spawn in a province that we already had our troops in now. And my understanding is there's going to be an event chain associated with that. So that event is just the first of multiple. It appears we have some native opposition. So some rebels certainly going to be firing up. There we go. More rebels, more rebels. The Northern Rebellion, oh my goodness gracious, face only the Bambergs. More noble regiments. Boy, are we taking a beating, but we basically have them put down. Just a few more. Ooh, it looks like we also have a new government reform over here called Anglo-Norman Unity, which gives us advisor costs and possible advisors, as well as a couple over here that I didn't see before. Rule Britannia, which gives us morale of navies and ship durability, very strong. Or the Royal Military Academy, which gives yearly army professionalism and mil tech cost. Goodness gracious, that's awesome. We have English colonial companies here. Courts of Chancery and whatever that word is. Robertian reforms. Infantry and artillery costs, that's pretty useful. Our tier 1 is the English feudal monarchy, giving us manpower at the cost of minimum autonomy. We are England after all, so we might as well annex Scotland. They're going to call in France and Sweden. Don't care, because I got an army down here to occupy France enough to piece them out. I don't think we're going to be able to fully annex them, but we'll take everything that we are able to. A very fitting piece for France here. We will pillage them, which will give us 4 development in our capital of London, transfer trade power, war reps, and all of their money. Well, goodness gracious, we can do the Church of England. I mean, I don't see why we don't. The Church of England is pretty strong. I want to have the choice to either divorce or behead my wife at my leisure. So we're going to go ahead and we are going to debase a little bit of tax, and we are going to basically buy a center of reformation in our capital, which is pretty cool. And then we can just convert stuff based on disunity, which is really, really useful. Yo, look how long that list of rebel factions is. What in the world? Turns out that having like 19% religious unity is not helpful to that, but the Center of Reformation is helping, and we are getting stuff converted, so it shouldn't be too long before we have like mostly overcome that part. And the Eastern Rebellion will happen here in Norfolk, and I believe this might be the end of this disaster here. We have the Domesday Book, with the insurrections finally brought under control, a large part due to the diligent efforts of our Lord Marshal. England now has ample time to heal. We will gain 1 stability, which is always nice, as well as 5% production and tax efficiency for the rest of the game, and 10% manpower recovery. I can live with that. Looks like killing all those rebels was not in vain. Now this is a peace deal right here. Take a look at that. So the reason why we went with kind of ugly borders over here is because I can release a Gaeldom, who I can then reconquest these 2 provinces from, and then take Orkney in the next war, and we will have the entirety of the Isles under our control. But I don't want to ruin too much, so we're going to call the campaign here. However, if there is interest in the campaign, I will continue it, and we will work our way down to the dual monarchy here. Requires us to control all of the British Isles as well as France, and I'm sure you guys can assume what the dual monarchy does. It creates yet another new tag for us that is very, very strong. So if you want to see that, let's shoot for 500 likes on the video. If it gets that, we will make the part 2, and if you want to make sure you catch it, don't forget to subscribe. On the screen right now, there's going to be a couple of videos recommended to you by YouTube. I think you'll probably enjoy those, so go ahead and check those out. And if you want to join my Discord, subreddit, Twitter, or support me on my Patreon for early access to each and every video I post on this channel, you can check those out linked in the description. That's all I've got for you for today. Until next time, guys, stay chill.